So it's February, and if you're like most people, you're already looking at your goals and feeling disappointed in yourself. You haven't made any progress and you already feel like giving up. Or maybe you have made progress, but with every passing day, your motivation to keep going dwindles until that one vision that sparked such vigor in you just the month before is now buried in a deep fog of confusion and dread. Where was I even going with this? Well, today I'm going to share with you a simple tool that you can make at home for free that will dissipate that fog of dismay and act as a guiding light to actually achieving your goals, however large or small they may be. Welcome back to Alternatively. If you haven't seen me, my name is Chase. On this channel, we talk about how to live an alternative life, that is, a life outside of the faulty and crummy norms that society tries to push us into. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to join our small community and hit that subscribe button. So that little intro about the fogginess and sadness and stuff of not accomplishing your goals, that was literally an embodiment of me for longer than I can remember. But I told myself that this year was going to be different, and I knew that if I wanted to change my life for the better, then I was going to have to actually do the work and try to come up with strategies on how to actually make these goals a reality. So as 2024 waned, I began to look up different strategies on how to achieve your goals for real. And I had run into a quote that seemed simple, but it was actually kind of eye-opening for me. And it basically said the only way to achieve your goals is to do everything that you said that you were going to do. And you know, it was like really simple, but just thinking about that, just, hey, if I just do the things that I said that I was going to do and actually commit to them, then I can actually achieve them. Because the only thing that's keeping me from the goals themselves is just the work that's in between. And if I can just accomplish the work, then I can get to those end goals. And there's a lot of things on goal keeping that I've actually discovered and have helped me tremendously. And I've made more progress on my goals in this past month and a half than, I can ever remember in my lifetime. But right now I just want to talk about one of the methods that I've used that has helped me to stay motivated to actually complete the goals. Motivation is a big part, whether that's negative motivation or positive motivation. Negative motivation being, I'm going to have to go get a 9-to-5 job and I'm going to be stuck in that rut for the rest of my life. Where then you have the reverse, which is the positive motivation. An example would be building up a business so that you can live on your own terms and spend more time with your family instead of, making these other people rich or building other people's dreams. And I discovered for myself it was a little bit of both. I had two sides of the motivation by the end of the year. I had that motivation to where I wanted to build something for my own and live on my own terms, but I also had that motivation where, hey, if I don't get this done, I'm going to have to go back and run a 9-to-5 again, which is something that I knew that I just wasn't willing to do. But the problem that I was running into is keeping that on my mind, keeping that motivation kindled, because you have days where you're waxing and waning and waxing and waning, you're up and you're down. And if you're running a business or if you're running your life on emotions, then you're kind of tossed to and fro by the wind, as the scriptures say. And so you naturally become unstable in all of your ways. So at the end of the year, I set out to find something that was not just in the mind, for the mind forgets things, but something that is tangible, something that's real, and something that I could see that would be a constant motivator for me to continue forward and to keep pressing forward through the good and the bad, through the times that I'm not feeling, like doing something, and the times that I am feeling like doing something, to keep that fire kindled. In other words, to look for something that would convict me when I didn't want to be convicted. I remember one day I was like casually skimming through YouTube, and I had come across this thing called the mood board. From what I understand, it's basically a compilation of pictures that you make yourself and compile yourself in order to visualize your own personality. So if you like to drink coffee, then you would put a lot of coffee stuff on there. If you like to read books, then you'd put people reading books or, certain books that you like. So it was basically something that just reflected your own personality. So I wondered if I could take this idea of, portraying somebody's personality through pictures and kind of transform that into something that would be a motivator for me to achieve my goals. And I did a little digging and found out that the thing that I was looking for had already existed. And that little tool is called the vision board. And it's basically a compilation of pictures that shows what you kind of envisioned for yourself as far as the future goes. Things that you would like to achieve. And if you did everything that you said that you were going to do, then this is where you would end up. And so it kind of gives you a visual representation of the future that you can have if you only act upon the goals that you set forth. So for example, I'm not sure if you can see this because I don't have the monitor on at the moment, but this year I want to start writing a book. I've been wanting to write a book for forever. And so what I did to kind of motivate myself to get started on this dream or idea of mine, whatever you want to call it, is I actually made a fake cover for the book, and I came up with a name and everything so that I could actually visualize, hey, if I get this done, this is what it's going to look like, you know, when it's printed out in people's hands. So now it's not just this idea that's trapped in my head that can fade away over time. Now it's something that I can constantly look at in order to remind me of what I'm actually working towards and what reality could be if only I just did the work. Another example is I put Alternatively on there, my YouTube channel. For a while I had put a lot of that off because of circumstances that I explained in my last video, but I really want to get this up and going again, and something that I do kind of part-time. So what I did in order to envision that is I had a picture of somebody editing, somebody on their computer with coffee, because if you've been a part of this channel for a while, you know that that's got to be there. And then my channel, and what I did is I took what I have now and I replaced it with what I want with in a year's time. And whether that happens or not is not really the point. It's more of, you know, this is what could happen if I do really stick to what I had set forth for myself to do. And so, you know, I got 10,000 subscribers, over 52 videos. And right now I think I've got 18. I think this will be the 19th when I stick this one up. If I just continue working and posting videos and giving people value, then, you know, then that goal can be attainable. And so I've got other things on here. I won't exhaust you with everything, but I think you get the point. But it really has helped me to visualize my goals instead of just trying to rely on my memory to motivate me to keep going. And one of the most important things of keeping a vision board is to keep it somewhere where you will see it daily, in a place where you can't miss it, even if you try to miss it. I keep actually a copy on my laptop and a physical copy, just so I can even look at it when I'm sitting on the computer, because I have the picture hung up here on my wall right next to my desk. But it's important to be able to constantly look at it so you can daily be reminded to keep going. But now that you've got a little bit of an idea of what the vision board is, now we can jump in and actually make one for ourselves. So I'll see you guys at the desk. All right, guys, we're back here at the desk, and so I want to say before we start that this can be your own thing. Like, you can do whatever you want. I'm just showing you kind of like what I did. You can add more pictures, less pictures. The most important thing is to make sure that it's tailored to you, and make sure that the images that you add are going to be convicting enough to keep you motivated. So I'll get more into that later, but this is your project. You do as you want to do with it. I'm just gonna kind of put a fake one together so you guys can kind of understand how to build it and see how easy it is. And it's completely free. There are people who take their Mod Podges or compilation of images, and then they will send them out to people on Etsy or whatever, and they'll actually have it professionally done so they can hang it up. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to hang it on my wall and, you know, use a normal sheet of paper. I think that the most bougie thing that I did with mine was I used some glossy paper that I had for my business, for my sticker paper, so so that it could be a little bit more crisp. But other than that, it's literally a sheet of paper inside of a frame that I already had. So completely free. You got a printer, got a computer, got a piece of paper. You know, you can do it right from your home. So I've got Pinterest pulled up here because I think that it's one of the best places to find good looking images and kind of like find a certain mood that you're looking for, or get a good like visual for a good looking visual for whatever you're envisioning and want to add to your mood board. So don't mind like the Colossus right here and some of the other fantasy stuff. As I said earlier, I'm writing a book too, so I've got a whole separate pin group. I don't even know what you call them. I'm not on Pinterest often, but for kind of visualizing that whole thing. But with Colossus out of the way, we'll keep going down. So basically, you're going to want to just look for things, like I said, is going to motivate you to do stuff. Let's say that one of your goals for 2025 is to be closer to your family. I think that's a good goal, and for a lot of men, that's something that you don't get very often. So let's see, I'll type in father. I've watched a few videos on how to do this, and they say the best way to get like the best images is to put aesthetic at the end of it. I don't know how true that is. I mean, I've done it a few times, and I think it works pretty well, but let's just try that father aesthetic picture, see what that pulls up. So we've got like pictures of fathers and sons. You could do whole families if you wanted to, like the wife and kids and everything. And then we're also gonna go to barista. Did I spell that right? Can you spell barista? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Barista. Why are you saying? I still spelled it wrong. So barista. Now I'm getting a lot of images of people working in coffee shops. So like this little cartoon one, like this guy. Let's see him. So envisioning yourself being this guy pouring people coffee out of your espresso machine, that sort of stuff would be really, really good to visualize you actually doing the thing. So we'll save this one. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go through and get a whole bunch of other pictures. That way you're not having to sit here and watch me go through Pinterest finding different pictures, but I think you get the idea. But after I get all the pictures, I will meet you over in Canva and we will actually build it. So I'll see you over there. All right, guys, I've got the images all downloaded from Pinterest, and I've got Canva open now. So I wanted to show you real quick. So what I basically did is when I created a new design, I'm just gonna open mine, but I used the medium banner, the US landscape. So if you wanna look that one up, that's just the one that I did. But anyone will be fine, just depending on what you're gonna put it in, I guess, like as far as your frame. Okay, so here's mine. Like if you couldn't see it, I couldn't tell, but if you couldn't see it before, this is how I built mine. The book I actually did myself. So this is Ephesians. Obviously that's not gonna be the end result, but it just kind of gives me a visual representation. We'll definitely jump back into this one after we kind of build the other one, just kind of give you some examples. But for right now, we're just gonna go in and delete all of this. So I'm gonna start putting the images into Canva. All right, so I got all my images in here now and on the frame. So I kind of just dragged them all in. We can position them later. The 3 goals that I went for this one was someone who wants to travel, and they also want to spend more time with their family, and they want to open a coffee shop. And then there's a 4th one that I'll get into at the end that is crucial, that I actually added in mine, and I will tell you why when we get there. You can position these however you want to. Again, I did it to what was most important to me and what I wanted to get done. So I kind of had a strategy. You don't have to have a strategy if you don't want to. If you just want to just put them together and make them look pretty, and you can do that too. Really doesn't matter. Make this yours, but just make sure, again, that it's convicting enough to make you keep going. I also tried to keep all of mine together. So ones that were kind of a feather, I put together. So you have the fantasy stuff. I've got the Lord of the Rings that I'm trying to finish. Map building, and then I had my YouTube channel on this side. Tried to make it a little bit more cohesive. Oh yes, and I also added somebody who wants to collect and read a lot of books. So that's in there too, so there's actually 5. All right, so now I've got a basic layout done. And so just arrange the images. I did it kind of randomly, just to try to make it quick, but that's basically what you're gonna do, is basically lay out your images like this. So I've got kind of like coffee here. So when I look on this side, here's my coffee shop that I wanna open. Here's me inside the coffee shop, doing work. And then here's me pulling shots. Here's a shot that I pulled. Over here, I've got my books. Here's some old books that I'm collecting. And here's a list of books that I'm reading. That's kind of insane, but if you want to do that, that's cool. This is yours. Then over here, I've got the family. So, the first image that we looked at on the beach. What I would recommend is try to get it as close to you as possible. So like if you don't have a son, I wouldn't do this one. If you have a daughter, I would definitely get one that has a girl. Just so it's easier to visualize yourself doing it. Because the more that you make it like your own life, the more that it's going to look realistic to you and going to motivate you to actually do it. And then down here, lastly, I've got the traveling. This would all be very good for this specific person if that's what they're wanting to do. And I think that it would be a very good motivator for them to continue going, to definitely try to carve out more time with their family, definitely try to get a time in the schedule for the year to go traveling, and then kind of envision what it would be like to own a coffee shop. And then lastly, which I saved for last because it is important, it's not necessary per se, but I have found that it has helped me drastically, is to make one or two of them, something that not that you're going to necessarily accomplish this year, something that's further out in the future, something that's more of like this is where I long to be when all is said and done, that this is what I'm working towards, this is what all of this, is kind of working towards. And I was trying to come up with something on the fly, but this is kind of what I came up with to kind of, for this person specifically. It's like maybe that they really desire a homestead for all of these different reasons. I mean, you can see how they put this stuff together. It kind of visualizes all of this. So they're going to work very hard on building this coffee shop so that they have enough funds to be able to purchase this piece of land. They're, reading enough books. So I don't know, giving them the aesthetic to do it, or giving them the knowledge on how to run a homestead maybe. And then you've got spending more time with your family. You're wanting to purchase this piece of land so you can do that more efficiently. So just all of these things are gonna tie in. And then, your love for change, your love for traveling could definitely go into this. I want to start anew somewhere else. So all of the rest of these are complementing this final one, this final future one. This is kind of like the end goal of the finale of all of it. So you want to definitely tone it down to where you're going like year by year as far as your goals, but you definitely want to have something. I personally think that you can envision farther than just a year or two from now. And for the example here, I put a woman and her son, because one day I would like to get married. And that's something that has been a vision for me for a very long time that the Lord's placed on my heart. So if that happens, I want to be prepared. So, I'm trying to get the channel going so that I can get some income from there. And then up here, I've got some journaling stuff to get my mind clear. And then writing my book, obviously, is another form of income that I want to achieve. And then, down here, I've got like multiple packages. So, getting a lot of orders. So here's my Etsy profile. I put a fake 53 there, pretending like, I got 53 orders, because that's what I'm kind of working towards, is to make that my full-time income from my Locust and Honey Pomade Shop. Then down here, I've got fighting temptation, fighting evil, and then I've got the Pilgrim's Progress here, because not only do I want to read it, but I want to live out the Pilgrim's Progress, continue to lean upon the Lord, and continue to glorify Him in all that I do. And so I guess this would be more of a constant, but this is something that I do daily and something that I would do, long into the future. But it all comes together to kind of prepare myself for this. And so not necessarily everything in here has to like go back to this one thing, but I think a lot of it should complement that. And so you've kind of got, so as these things start to happen, this can start to become bigger, a bigger priority, a closer priority, I guess I should say. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. If you enjoy content like this, where, I'm kind of showing you from behind the scenes of what I'm doing to keep myself motivated, then definitely let me know down in the comments and suggest anything that you guys would like to see. I'd love to share more stuff. I've got plenty more stuff that has helped me to work towards my goals. So I'd be more than happy to share that with you if that's something that y'all are interested in. But until then, glorify Yahweh and burn the boxes. We'll see y'all next time.